Well, welcome back YouTubers and toy train fans to another installment of the Edge of Town Layout Rejuvenation Project. Not a lot's happened the last week, uh, partially because I had a case of writer's block. I've been trying to think of what I could do next on the layout. I've got all these ideas floating in my mind and none of them had wanted to gel. And that's okay. But I decided upon a couple things, and I went for it. And a part of what's been going on is I had to order some things and wait for them to come in before I can progress any further. So today's update is a little bit about the structures here, a little bit about the scenery, and a little bit about some new cars I got. Not a whole bunch, but a few. Let's uh, let's go over here to this little town plastic station. Now you may notice that right here, where am I going? There's a new sign. This sign replaces the old cardboard sign that went with the old cardboard station that was here. Now there's how can I put this? I've been wanting to put a pole or pedestal type sign in this area for a long time. Marx makes a nice one. It goes with their large tin litho service station, and it's a nice sign. It has a fluted pole with an oval banner, but to try to find one all by itself, they're kind of pricey. I've got one, but it goes to my large Marx tin litho service station, so I'm not going to use it. I found this made by Tomy, Tomy, and I'm thinking, hey, why not? It was only a couple bucks, whereas the Marx signs are kind of pricey. I thought, well, Texaco's good. I drilled a hole in the base and put it in, and we're good for right now. The only problem this has, you see the sign on one side. We turn it around. Don't know if you can see it, but it says Tomy, Tomy. So I'm going to have to make a replacement or a kind of like a repo sign to put behind there. Okay, that's fine. I did get a new 80-year-old Marx press steel bus. I think I said in a previous video, I've been collecting Marx off and on for the last 25 some years. Since, well, do the math, it's 91, 92. And finally this year I've been able to find things in their pressed steel pre-war vehicle range that I can afford, and I've gotten some pretty good deals here the last few months. All right, new Marx bus, new old Marx bus. The next thing is I started working on the lake, and I knew I wanted to detail this little lake using figures, and eventually I knew I was going to put a dock in here. So I got this Woodland Scenics set. I think it's called Family Fishing. I threw the packaging away, but it comes with that motorboat, the dock, and several figures. None of which I put on here because they don't stay without gluing them. They just don't stand or anything. You have to glue them down, and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna have to figure something else out for that. But anyway, so I got me a dock. The next thing was, hey, I've got this project going on. I'm putting details here and details there and trying to make it look cool and whatnot. And I'm trying to think to myself, what is it you generally will not see or do not see on a toy train layout, and you hardly ever see on a small layout or even a large mega layout. Well, one of those is when you've got a lake like this. I'm calling it a lake, but you know, it's a toy train layout. It's a lake. Good enough. Like I said, this camera sucks for zooming in and getting details that in sharp focus. Alright, see, I'm losing it already. Anyway, I've been planting cattails. Yeah, cattails. These cattails are made by a company called JTT Scenery, or Scenery Products, or something like that. Here's what they look like. Alright? And I'm trying to get a good hold of this, good grip. Maybe or maybe not. You can just barely discern a little brown splotch up there, which is the cattail. Very nicely detailed. Now, the problem I had was they're all like this. You see that? See that? Again, trying to get a good hold of this. Alright. The bottoms, they're all glued together, obviously, these little strands of whatever they are, material, fiber. And they all come to a sharp point. And I'm thinking, there's no instructions, but I'm thinking that JTT's intent was for you to drill a hole into your scenery, insert them into the hole, and work your water material, whatever you're using, up around the base. Here's a problem I have with that on this particular setup. This is a piece of rippled plastic over a piece of blue paper. If I start drilling holes in here, I'm almost 100% positive sawdust will get between the clear plastic and the blue paper and muck everything up. So what I've done is I took a scissors and cut about a 1/4 inch off the bottom. Sort of made them flat. Then I super glued them directly onto the rippled plastic. So each package contains, I believe, 24 separate cattails, and all but the one that I just showed you have been glued on. I'm not sure if I want to ring this lake with cattails or not. I'm thinking that would be overkill. I might just leave it where it's at right now. I'll put that last piece on that I showed you and call it a day. The other thing that I've been trying, because I'm trying new methods here too. See those little tufts of foliage? Well, back in the day, if you wanted to represent just wild bushes or whatever, you used either loofah sponge or lichen. Then Woodland Scenics came along and started putting out ground foam products. Now they've got a new product. It's called Peel in Place Tufts. There's 21 pieces here. You take a tweezers, carefully peel it off the backing, and stick it onto your layout wherever you want it. I like them. I mean, I can add a lot of detail really quick, no glue. My hands are shaking. I just had caffeine. Yeah, I just finished my cup of coffee. I'm home for lunch, doing this real quick, and then I got a book. Okay. So anyway, I ordered 2 packages of the medium tufts, green tufts, medium green. I've got another couple packages coming in of flowering tufts, and I like that. I'm gonna put more around here. This is an area, this whole lake area, that can use a little more vegetation and not just flat grass land here. And I'm going to see what else I can do. But for now, I got a good start. Alrighty, so next, so that the building, my technical sign, new scenery techniques that I'm trying out here on the layout, and I got a couple cars. Yep. Careful. Alrighty. Got a couple cars. I've got this gray Santa Fe Sonda Power tender. Now, normally you would pair this with the Marx 1666 plastic shelled locomotive, and it was also gray. So there was the gray 1666 and the gray tender as a match set. But I'm running this because it's part of this new crop of cars I got in. And actually, yeah, okay. The New York Central crane car, I got two of them. I got the big die-cast crane car as well as this plastic one. Alrighty. I had that. And then I got in this dual floodlight or searchlight car. And the Santa Fe work caboose. Now, I did this because I wanted to put together a rec train, not a work train. Those toy train types, every time we get utility cars in a consist, we call it a work train. It's not necessarily so. It's a rec train. And a rec train in the real railroads was something that generally consisted of a crane car along with its associated flat car or idler, tool cars, as many as needed, bunk cars, dining or kitchen cars, whatever it took to feed a crew to clear a wreck, perhaps sometimes far from home. And the cars and the crew were generally situated at division points along the line, and they were there on call whenever they were needed. So this is a wreck train. Now, this got me to thinking. This is a good flat car. This got me to thinking. I want to try to make an idler car of the type I've seen in photos on real railroads. So I got another flat car that was kind of wrecked up. I mean, it's beat up. It's got the couplers are good, the trucks are good, but the plastic is kind of a mess. And I'm going to use that to put together an idler car. Another project. But anyway, we're here to run trains, and let's see how this thing does. Now, this sound, I'm reaching under the table to turn on the power strip. Okay, this Sound O-Power tender. Maybe I should show you this. I'll probably mess everything up. Ugh. Goodness. See that? The little roller? Okay. There's electronics in there and a circuit board. And this rolls along the track. And all it really does is generate white noise. Static, okay? And that's all it does. I got two of these. Okay, there we go. I made it. I got two of these. The other one is a tad bit quiet. So it didn't cost a whole lot, so I figured I'd buy another one and see how well it runs and does. Oh, one other thing. I've said it before, building a toy train layout, even a simple one like this, problems crop up. One of the problems are with these crane cars. The large, where is it? Did I put that somewhere I can get to now? Hold on. I'm gonna back up. Yeah, oh boy, yeah. Hold on. Way back here. Alrighty. Blink. I could have been a little more prepared, you know. Alright. See that? Gorgeous car. It has a long boom. And here's the problem. You put it down and you see how it hangs over the idler car, like it should, just like in the real railroad. The boom hangs over the flat car or idler car, and the hooks rest on it, the idler car that is. And there are tools on there and other associated gadgets that they might need. But here's the problem. I believe that larger Marx crane car was really designed for the larger radius O-34 curves. What happens is, on these tight O-27 curves, that boom swings out, and it doesn't matter if you're running it in the forward or the backward position, the boom, like this is in the backward position. It doesn't matter. It does a couple things. It hits scenery, it hits gates, and it swings out so far that it knocks these gates or these fencing pieces off of the flat car. Alright, so I'll have to save that for when I get a larger layout, I guess. But there's other problems. You like the tunnel? It's a classic. Marx made the same stamping with 3 different designs. This rural farm community design, a mine design, and a camouflage design for its military trains in the pre-war era. And therein lies the problem. Marx designed these in the pre-war era and kept selling them up until, except for the camouflage tunnel, they kept selling the tunnels up until they went defunct pretty much. The problem with that is, in the 50s, when Marx went to plastic production, they were still making their tin cars, but they designed a whole range of plastic rolling stock, and some of those pieces are too high to fit underneath the tunnels. On my last layout, the Marksville and Plateau, which there are videos of here on my YouTube channel, I raised the tunnel up. I put it up on like what looks like stone foundations on a hillside, and I raised it up so that all my rolling stock could clear it. Right now, this crane, the tip of the boom, knocks against the tunnel top. And there are some Marx cars that will not clear the tunnel, period. So that's a little bit problematic. Yeah. Alright, just so you know. Don't expect to plop down one of those tunnels and have everything in your inventory work with it. Oh! That's loud. Sounds like my neighborhood on a Saturday night. Sounds like my neighborhood on a Saturday night. Good grief. That is loud. Come on, go forward. You worked fine in rehearsal. Searchlights or floodlights work well. That is one loud tender. trolls have come out to look. You didn't know they're rail fans, did you? Yeah. I can smell the smoke from that engine. I love it. Ah. Did you see that? The hook came loose, bumped against the track, and shorted it. Okay, now, if I had, let's say, a proper idler car, I could rest the boom. You know, this is still likely going to get... Okay. I can rest the boom on top of the idler car somehow and just let it ride. Well, I'll tell you what. It's parked. Let me get one more shot. Let me not get one more shot. What's happening here? Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing we got a wreck crane here. And just use that and bump into the passenger platform. Well, I guess not. Well, let's make believe our wreck train re-railed the derailed Sound of Power tender. Such a deal. All right. Gaining speed. Can't have that. Can't have that. Alright, fun and games playing with toy trains. And there you have it, folks. Another update to the Edge of Town layout rejuvenation. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Till next time, bye, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, tschüss. See y'all.